If you're watching this video, it may be because you just got a summons for a theft at Walmart. Now, you're probably wondering if you really need to hire a lawyer for a theft. You may have that doubt because that so-called friend or even brother-in-law has said, "Oh no, you don't need a lawyer for a misdemeanor. Just go in and plead guilty." Just because that brother-in-law has been through the system with his felony charges and he thinks he knows everything and he sees a misdemeanor as minor compared to what he's been through, doesn't minimize the consequences of a theft conviction on your record. It's also possible you're strapped financially. Therefore, you're trying to see if you can even afford a defense attorney. You may be thinking that you have no defense, so what is the point in even hiring a lawyer? You feel like you were caught red-handed. After 17 years of practice in criminal defense, I definitely believe it is the defendants who have a bad case that need help the most. Having a theft on your criminal record can be detrimental to the rest of your life. There are many other charges you would much rather have on your criminal background for the entire world to see. Theft charges will get you fired or cause you to not even get hired. Schools and other organizations may deny your acceptance with a theft on your record. You may also have trouble getting loans, housing, and other things that require a background check. Theft is bad to have on your record because it looks like you're dishonest. Even though it may have been a mistake or you're just at a bad point in your life, it will look bad. Since the date that you received the theft summons, the fact of that summons should now be on your criminal record. The only way to get that off is to file a motion to expunge. That can only be done after the case is over and the case was resolved in a certain way. An experienced criminal defense attorney will know how to get the case resolved that way. If you go at it alone without a lawyer, there's a great chance your record will be ruined. With all the information on the internet, you may be thinking that you will just Google all you need to know about theft charges at Walmart. Almost every day, someone will ask me about a law issue they read on the internet, and it will be completely inaccurate or based off law from another state. Most, if not all, of what you read online about theft is just marketing from other law firms. Even if it is applicable to the defendant's case, the defendant is analyzing it incorrectly. So then I, as a lawyer, have to explain how it applies to their case. Almost every time someone asks me about something they read online and how it applies to them, I end up telling them it has nothing to do with their case, or it applies differently than they thought. I know it's tempting to want to rush to the internet after getting a summons and look for answers like, will I go to jail if I plead guilty to theft? But you will not get the most accurate answer. The reason is that every single case is different. It's not like all theft cases are so similar that you can just put a quarter in a machine and get the answer. Your ex-con friend might think that, but do you trust his judgment and if he really cares about you? If you are pleasant while receiving your theft ticket from the sheriff, he will often tell you that you'll just take a class and pay a fine, so don't worry about it. If you're not pleasant, he won't say anything, which is actually being honest with you. Never take legal advice from a police officer. I am certain police officers have no clue about the consequences to a defendant's criminal record, employment, education, and just life in general. I hear that cops tell defendants all the time to just go plead guilty. It shocks me that the defendant actually thinks this is a good idea. I couldn't imagine taking the legal advice from a police officer, walking into a courtroom, and just pleading guilty without an attorney. That police officer who was nice to you and gave you legal advice will be at your trial on the stand testifying against you, saying whatever he needs to say to justify charging you. He is not your friend. Many times during the issuing of a summons, he'll play good cop and he'll be nice to you, so you'll talk a lot. If you talk a lot, you'll end up giving statements about how much you stole and how often you've done it. Never take legal advice from a police officer. You see lawyers everywhere offering free consultations. As a recent defendant, you may be thinking, oh, I'll just call a lawyer and get free advice, then I'll know what to do. But have you ever received anything for free that had any real value? Think about it. Do you really think all those lawyers are sitting in some office waiting by the phone to give free legal advice? Imagine that lawyer drooling over the opportunity to spend an hour on the phone with you to tell you all you need to know to get through your theft charge without having to hire a lawyer. That's not realistic. They want you to call so you hire them. No lawyer can really give you any beneficial advice on your case until he gets the reports and speaks with the prosecutor. There's a process to all this. None of this can be done without actual representation. Think about it. Would you call up a dentist and ask them to give you free advice as to why your tooth hurts? Would you call up an eye doctor and ask him to give you free advice on why you can't see well? Remember, you get what you pay for. If you pay for nothing, you get nothing. At our law firm, what we do is we talk to you long enough to understand what the issue is, and we'll tell you what our fee is. So you can call us for free and talk to us to let us know what your charge is, what you're facing, and that gives us a pretty good idea of what we need to do. I put together a little list of common questions and issues that you'll likely have but will not get answered unless you hire a lawyer for your Walmart theft. You would just have to be comfortable not knowing these answers. Everyone is different. Some people don't care about their well-being as much as others. Like I said before, all these issues would get answered by your theft lawyer because he can dive into the case in various ways. So the questions are, do I have to go to court? Will I go to jail? Will I have to plead guilty? Is the summons on my record? Will a conviction go on my record? How can I clean up my criminal record? What do I tell my boss? I'm applying for a professional license. What do I say on the application? Will I lose my student loans? Will I get kicked out of school? I can assure you that the answers to each one of these questions is different from case to case. You can Google the questions, but as I stated earlier, you'll get information that will not apply to you. I can certainly understand how you would want to avoid paying for a theft lawyer. I hate having to pay the bill to the accountant every year. But I do it because I know he helps me. I couldn't imagine getting a theft charge then not hiring a lawyer. Just the thought of going into a courtroom and having a prosecutor and judge against me, and I know nothing about the law, would be enough for me to want to hire a lawyer. So if you feel the same way, feel free to reach out to us. We are a criminal defense law firm. That's all we do. Theft defense is a very large part of our practice. We're not spending our days working injury cases or writing wills. We're in various courtrooms throughout Louisiana handling theft charges. We are theft defense attorneys. You wouldn't go to an eye doctor for a back pain problem. You need a theft lawyer for your theft charge. I hope this video has helped answer the question of whether or not you need a lawyer for a theft at Walmart. If you need a lawyer for your theft charge, give us a call. We'll be happy to help.